One of the things I love about Dinkum is that there are so many ways to play it, and you can just focus on aspects you enjoy the most. In this video, I will share the best ways to earn money using different ways so you can find one that suits your playstyle. I will also share how you can sell items not just to John, but to different vendors so you can earn the most dinks for your items. Let's start with some easy ways to earn money passively. These are the kinds of things you can set up once and then forget about while you're off exploring the map, chasing diggos, or doing your best to convince Franklin to finally move in. And when he does show up with his fancy gadgets and you suddenly realize you're broke, you'll be thanking yourself for setting up these little money makers ahead of time, because you will likely have a stash of valuable goodies just waiting to be processed and or sold. The easiest way to earn money, especially at the start of the game, is by making orchards. You only need to plant trees once and it will continuously give you harvests with zero maintenance needed. The first 4 fruits you will encounter in the game are apples, bananas, bush limes, and kwandongs. But there is actually a 5th one that you can get quite easily if you have a boat. A rowboat can be crafted once you have Vehicle License 1, and it will allow you to reach small tropical islands in the Northeast Ocean that are filled with coconut trees. Without any additional processing, coconuts are the most profitable fruit in the game, even if it only produces every 10 days. Disregarding the initial growth rate of the trees, we can see that we can get more profit from coconuts per day. It is a bonus that you don't even need to harvest it too often. But if you are willing to add one more step for this process, you can cook fruits in a campfire or a barbecue except for the coconut. Cooked apples sell for 390 per piece in John's, which would boost the profit per day to more than triple the amount you can get from coconuts alone. I do not recommend processing your apples in billy can kits since it is simply not worth it. Your profit from it will actually even decrease if you process it into jam, since you would need 10 apples to make 1 apple jam. But the jam only sells for 3,100, making the price per apple only 310 compared to the cooked apple price of 390. So the thought of grilled apples might not be appetizing compared to apple jams, but it is the one that will give you a lot of money. If you do have a lot of bush limes and kwandongs in your storage, you can process those in billy can kits to increase its price. But if it's strictly for money making, you can just focus on cooked apples. So now let's talk about how to make the most of billy can kits. Bottle brush and yellow wattle flowers are the ones you want to process in here. You can get bottle brush bush from the pine forest biome and yellow wattle seeds from bushlands. You can get seeds by chopping down the bush, but each bush will only drop 0 to 2 seeds randomly, meaning there is a chance you won't get any seeds. I still think it's worth it to chop the bushes around your map and relocate it near your base for easy access though. If you have a friend who has the game, either of you can make a spare island so you can gather more bush seeds there if you need. These bushes produce 3 flowers every 6 days and has a base price of 245 for the bottle brush and 145 for the yellow wattle flower. At the start of the game, you will gather a lot of wattle flowers, so you can sell that as it is to progress quickly, but I recommend keeping all the bottle brush flowers until you can get a billy can kit and a keg. You need 10 flowers for 1 bottle tea, but this already boosts the price to 269 per flower, which is still not a lot. But if you process this more in a keg, each bottle brush brew sells for more than 10,000 each, which means you earn around 1,000 per flower. This is personally my favorite passive income because I can earn a lot of money even if I don't pay attention to it that much. Next, let's talk about farming. I don't recommend this method unless you have leveled up your skills and licenses enough to automate some of the processes. But if you do enjoy doing this part of the game, here is how you can get the most money from it. For the crops, I will be referencing the complete seed guide made by Paparazzi. I will link his video below if you want to learn how all the data was computed, but essentially, the best crop to plant all year round is wheat. But the profit from this is still lower compared to if you plant seasonal crops. For multiple seasons, the best crop is onion, which you can grow from spring to summer. For autumn, you can plant corn and it will last until winter. Once you hit winter, you can plant kale in addition to your corn since kale is the most profitable crop for a single season. If you want to automate this process, you need to increase your farming skill in order to unlock better watering cans and eventually sprinklers, water tanks, and tractors. Grinding for this skill at the start of the game takes up a lot of time. What I like to do is plant a bunch of crops that grow all throughout the year and let the rain water and my NPCs water it naturally. This will result to uneven crop growth, especially if you have a lot of crops and few villagers. But your farming skill will increase once you harvest the crops. Another easy way to increase your farming skill is by using the grain meal and compost bin. For animals, I recommend the same technique. With the newest update, your animals can get sick if you don't clean them regularly. Sick animals will not die from being sick, but they will stop producing drops. Between this and having to remember to feed them daily, I don't recommend having a lot of animals right away unless taking care of them is really something you enjoy. Keeping around 2 of each animal type should be good enough in case you need their products for recipes until you can automate taking care of them with silos and animal showers. The recipes for this will be available after you have leveled up your animal handling license to level 3 and irrigation license to level 1 respectively. Both of these licenses also need farming license. Once you have the automated setup, the fully grown animal should give you produce every day. You should make cheese makers and spinning wheels for your wombats and pleeps to make it a good passive income source. A high-quality cheese made from high-quality milk sells for 2,300 and one cloth from wool sells for 5,400 each. If you're wondering if you should cook these crops or animal products for a higher profit, the short answer is you can, but I think it's not worth it. People used to be able to sell fairy bread for a lot of dinks, but that got nerfed before the full release, so it's not worth it to go through all the steps needed to make one. Just cooking using a cooking table already takes a lot of time since you have to click on it one by one. You can, however, keep some ingredients so you can cook them by demand if Sheila is already in your town, which we will talk about more later in this video. Each flower in the game doesn't sell for much, but they grow everywhere during the spring season. Plus, you can set up a flower farm by crafting flower beds and pots and placing any flower next to an empty spot. This spot will be filled up by a flower of the same kind. The most profitable flowers are shown on the screen, and most can only be obtained during spring with the exception of Bird of Paradise, which you can get in the second level of the mines. Once you harvest spring flowers, you can grow them through the entire year using flower beds and pots, which will make for an easy passive income. Plus, it's always nice to have a lot of flowers in your base. Those are all the money-generating techniques that require little player involvement after the initial setup. While waiting for your trees to replenish its fruits or for your crops to grow, here are other ways to earn money more actively. First, let's talk about catching bugs. The birdwing butterfly has the highest selling price out of all the bugs with a base price of 9,100. However, this is a super rare bug, so it might be hard to catch a lot of it. I recommend looking for cicadas, which is a common bug found in the bushlands and plains during spring and summer. It sells for 3,800 dinks each. Fishing is a better way to earn money compared to catching bugs though. The fish with the highest selling price is the lungfish, which sells for 50,000 dinks and can be found at night in rivers and billabongs. This can be caught in all seasons, but it is super rare to encounter one. I recommend aiming for the humphead rays, barracuda, or lionfish instead. But you can also aim for a more commonly seen fish, like the empire gudgeon, which can be caught in all seasons at any time in billabongs. These sell for 9,920 dinks each. I didn't find critter catching to be particularly rewarding since the common critters don't sell for a lot of money. So if you want to earn money by diving, I recommend aiming for oysters instead. These produce pearls that sells for 5,000 dinks each. Moreover, they replenish every 10 days. So if you see one, you can mark it in your map and go back to it after 10 days and there would be a new pearl. To make the most out of this, you can craft it into a pearl path, which takes 1 pearl and 2 bags of cement. This will yield 16 pearl paths, which will sell for 391 each, making your total profit 6,256 dinks. You can further increase this by keeping it to sell to Jimmy, and we will talk about this later. Relics you get from metal detecting are also best kept in your inventory until you can access Jimmy. The base selling price of this for John has been significantly reduced before the full release, and you are better off keeping the relics you find for crafting recipes and for when you can bulk sell it to Jimmy. Next, we have one of my favorite ways to make quick bucks: animal trapping. Bush devils spawn on pine forests by rocks that look like this, and each spawn point typically contains 1 to 3 of these creatures. Be careful not to destroy these rocks since this will stop the bush devil from spawning there. Instead, you can set a collection point near it. Then, place some animal traps around the collection point itself. After that, you simply have to lure the bush devil to the trap and it will automatically be collected. Do note that I have encountered some locations around the collection point where the animals still escaped. The ones on these sides typically work for me, but you can try and test it for yourself too. Each bush devil you collect will give you 12,000 dinks, so if you can trap at least 10 each day, that's an easy 120,000 dinks for you. I marked some of the spawn points for these bush devils in my map and go around them when I need that extra easy dink. Another creature you can aim to trap are the Warimus. These will only give you 8,400 dinks each, but they are usually clustered in a single area, making it easy to trap a lot of them all at one time. They would also produce eggs during spring, which you can sell to John for 8,000 to 24,000 dinks depending on its weight. You can only carry 1 egg at a time though, so I don't recommend doing this unless John is nearby or if you already have a vehicle that will make transporting the eggs faster. For me, it's just much easier and faster to trap the Warimus, grab 1 egg, and then go back home to continue with my other activities. Sadly, the collection points don't work down the mines. You can also tie in animal trapping to the bulletin board quests. Sometimes there will be a quest to trap and collect animals. This will give you a bigger reward compared to what you will usually get, and the price increase is applicable to each of that animal that you trap per day. Another good money-making quest is hunting for alpha animals. They also give good drops that you can use to craft better weapons. Lastly, we have mining. When you are in the mines, you will sometimes come across some gemstones like this ruby. You will not be able to place this in your inventory, but don't mine it using your pickaxe. Keep the gemstones intact to sell to John if you want to earn some dinks. You can also place it in the crusher beside the mine elevator to get gem shards that will let you go down other mine levels. Ruby and emerald shards will give you 15,000 dinks per kilogram and can weigh anywhere from 2 to 6 kg each. So it's going to be the same selling price whether you get rubies or emeralds. But if you are already quite confident with your combat skills, I recommend getting shards from Undergrove, the second level from the mines. It will require 4 shards to access it, but there are a lot of special rooms in this level that can give you 4 emerald gemstones each. And I tend to get more gemstones from this level than the deep mine. You can set your wishing well to a peaceful wish so that less creatures will attack you. Be careful because the grubs and pitcher plants still attack even if you have the peaceful wish active. I am planning to make a more in-depth guide for mining, so let me know if you have any questions about it in the comment section, and make sure you are subscribed so you'll be notified when it comes out. As you can see, there is a lot to keep track of if you want to make the most out of your days in the game. I always tend to forget the plans I set out to do, or that John is closed on Sunday so I can't buy a mining pass that day. Which is why I made a tracker to remind me of things I want to keep track of, like my daily tasks, things I'm crafting, building, or saving up for. I can just type it here, then I can view all the things I need for it on the side. I can also view this by season to easily sort which bugs or fish are the most profitable and easy to catch that month. If you are interested in knowing more about this tracker, there are more details on my shop which I will link below. Of course, you can just do this using a pen and paper if that's what you prefer, but I found that having all the data in one place is very handy, especially since this is on Notion and I can just use my phone or iPad to use it. For now, let's talk about some random events that you can encounter in the game that can give you a huge amount of money, if you are lucky enough to encounter it. If you see a meteor shower, watch the sky carefully for a shooting star with a stream that is brighter, thicker, and falling slower than the others. It will crash in a burst of fireworks when it lands, and you will hear its sound. Follow its general direction until you spot it in the ground. It will be glowing, so it's easy to see. Make sure you pick it up during that day because it will disappear if you sleep. After you pick it up, it will lose its glow, so be careful not to lose it. The meteorites I sold so far range from 300,000 to 500,000 per piece. This was a huge help for me because I got my first meteorite shower within my first week in the game, and I was so surprised by how much it sold. Be careful because meteorites can break if you use a weapon on it or if an animal attacks it. I also learned the hard way that meteorites can break if you place it on a campfire for the memes. At least there's a chance to get some rare items if it breaks, like this meteorite chunk that I can place on my character's headgear to get this really cool floating meteorite that follows me around. Another event you should keep an eye on is the thunderstorm. A loud crack of thunder will indicate that a thunder egg has spawned near your character. These eggs don't disappear and can sell from 33,000 to 99,000 dinks. Here is another tip. You can break a thunder egg to get 4 opals. 4 opals will sell for 60,000 dinks. So, you can weigh the egg first and see how much John will pay for it. And if it's less than 60,000, just break the egg open and sell the opals instead. Opals are used for a lot of crafting recipes though, so keep this in mind before selling all your stock. The last event you should keep an eye on is the heat wave. During a heat wave, you can dig up gold nuggets or gold ores. 3 gold nuggets make 1 gold ore, and 5 gold ores makes a gold bar. If you use a blast furnace, you will get more of each. A gold bar sells for a minimum of 300,000 each. In order to keep tabs on all these weather events, you can commission a weather station from Franklin. Reading it will give you that day's weather and the next day's forecast so you can plan your activities accordingly. You can also choose the fortuitous wish from the wishing well to make rare occurrences like this, meteorite showers, and thunder eggs more common. Everything we have talked about so far is the profit that you will get at the item's base selling price if you sell it to John. You can get a commerce license after purchasing fishing, hunting, logging, and mining license level 2. The first commerce license level increases the selling price by 5%, the second commerce license increases it by 10%, and the third level increases it by 15%. Then, some other NPCs will give you more profit if you sell some items to them compared to John. Franklin will buy shiny discs for 6 times the value. Sheila will buy the food of the day for 2.5 times the value. So like I said when I was talking about cooking, you can keep some ingredients or cooked items and wait until it becomes the food of the day. In particular, Lot Burger can reach up to 70,000 dinks per piece. Mushroom risotto and prime roast can also reach up to 30,000 dinks per piece. Sheila also asks for brews and jams, which has been very profitable for me. Then, Ted Sally is an NPC that appears in a random place on the map once you have hunting license level 2. He will only spawn at a random after 3 PM on Saturday, and you will hear a whistle and see a notification if he is nearby. He will double the price of John for any raw or cooked animal meat, bugs, critters, fish, and the following items from the cooking table. Once you've built your museum, Julia will appear at the visitor site every 15th of spring and autumn and will buy bugs for 2.5 times the value. While Max appears every 22nd of summer and winter and will buy fish for 2.5 times the value. Make sure to take advantage when they are there hosting their competitions. Then lastly, we have Jimmy. He is the NPC that will really give you a lot of money. But you must have at least 1 million dinks in your bank account for him to spawn in your island. It must also be raining in the morning. He will buy any item for 1.5 times its value, but you must sell at least 50 of the same kind. This is where the pearl paths can be more profitable since one pearl yields 16 paths and you can quickly get more than 50 of it. The relics that you have will also sell for a lot more on Jimmy compared to John. Keep an eye out for a question mark on the map and take advantage of this time to bulk sell your items to Jimmy. What is your favorite way of making dinks? I personally like making money from my orchards, animal trapping, and by mining. Make sure you are subscribed for the next Dinkum video.